this whole idea that he's pushing, that if you're not perfect, you are no longer eligible to get someone, is ridiculous, because the men aren't perfect either. You know, some men can't even have sex at this point at 50 years old. So there's more to it.
They put that strap on.
Oh,
pretend.
Lord.
What? I say they put that strap on, pretend.
That's another show. We'll call back in for that one.
My bad. You know, sometimes my mind, I go there. My bad.
She said strap.
Reese, let me just let you know. Sometimes I go there. That's my fault. It was late.
Well, we'll have to call back for that one. We'll do another. We'll do Divine Feminine Grace After Dark.
Right.
How to keep your man happy after the marriage.
Hey, he put it on and help her, you know, get her what she needs.
Hey.
Welcome to the TMF podcast, where we have too many feelings. I'm your host, T Staples, and I'm joined today with
she made man Freddie B, the lovely and amazing Freddie B.
Oh, you adding all that into your title. Okay. You doing a lot. And for all y'all listeners out there, we'll bring you all these feelings from the comfort of our homes and a hotel today. That's right, we're 100% remote. So if you feel our show us how you feel by subscribing so you can get notified when the new episodes drop. And if you like what you're hearing, send us a message. Our handles are in the description below. We love to know how you feel. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the state of Black relationships. We've got a special guest on. I'll introduce her in a minute. She's a author of the book, B.A.B.E.'s Guide to Divine Feminine Grace, From Mule to Muse. But first, it's time for a moment I like to call the internet never lost. That's right. In my attempt to navigate through the endless insanity of interconnectivity that we all call the internet, I find myself stumbling upon two celebrity couples adding themselves to the traded up list. You know, that list that normally hits about May when people are getting off of cuffing season. Now, the two celebrities I'm talking about are Kim Kardashian and Angela Simmons. Now, I don't know if you know, but last year, Taraji P. Henson called off her engagement with her fiance, Calvin Hyde, and Therese Gibson and his wife, Samantha Lee Gibson. They filed for divorce in September, and he just announced it about a week ago. Of course, she claims that, he changed the locks to her home, but they having a little bicker season. But the two I'm talking about right now, the two celebrities that just came out with something, was Angela Simmons and Kim Kardashian. Or should we say Kim Kardashian West? Let's take a listen about Angela Simmons. This report comes from O'Shea Deuce Jackson.
Seemingly single again, Angela Simmons released photos of boxer boyfriend Daniel Jacobs, and I was like, oh my God, sound effect. Oh my God. Now, Angela Simmons brought in the new year with a friend in Miami and no boyfriend in sight. And he has not been on her Instagram page, and she has deleted all of their photos. Now, see, Daniel Jacobs, who is, really good fighter. He only has one loss. He's a really good fighter out of New York. And that was kind of her situation of saying, like, I got dumped. The other guy didn't want to be with me, like Romeo Miller. But look at me now. I'm a single mom, I date Pookies and Ray Rays, but I'm back until you're back single again.
Until you're back single again. And if you don't know, if you haven't heard the news, we also had another big celebrity, or should I say celebrity couple in this case, that is now filing for divorce. Here's the report from Hip Hop DX.
Kim Kardashian and Kanye West appear to be headed for a split.
Because Kim may be divorcing Kanye.
Kanye West and Kim Kardashian are headed for a split. According to the New York Post on Tuesday, January 5th, a divorce between the power couple is imminent as the reality mogul has hired star attorney Laura Wasser. They're keeping it low-key, but they are done, a Page 6 source relayed. Kim has hired Laura Wasser, and they are in settlement talks. Kanye, 43, wasn't pictured in any of the Kardashian holiday gatherings with his 4 kids and the rest of the famous family in Tahoe or Calabasas. He reportedly spent the holiday season separate from Kim inside his cavernous Wyoming estate as they gear up to go their separate ways. Kim got Kanye to go up there, Wyoming, so they could live separate lives in quiet quietly get things sorted out to separate and divorce, another Page Six source added. She's done. Divorce rumors once again popped up in July when Kanye tweeted he was seeking a split from Kardashian over an alleged encounter between Meek and Kim, which she denied being anything romantic. I've been trying to get divorced since Kim met with Meek at the War Dome for prison reform, he tweeted. The Skims founder then asked for compassion from the public for Kanye as he dealt with mental health issues. Yeezy also apologized for going public about his unhappiness with what transpired in their relationship. To Kim, I want to say I know I hurt you. He wrote to Twitter, please forgive me. Thank you for always being there for me.
Man, oh man. Now, I cannot wait to get some commentary from my guest host. But Freddie B, I just want to hear you. Man, did you hear that? Kim Kardashian
crazy.
Is actually thinking about doing it for real seriously this time. Like, what do you think about that? Like, I kind of feel like they belong together. This is just my personal opinion. I feel like nut for nut, they should be together. You know?
I mean, the thing is Kanye, he had been crushing on Kim, like, at her way before they even got together. So I think obviously if they get a divorce, it's gonna be Kim doing it. And I think on her end, I mean, it could happen because Kim gonna do it because Kim don't care. I mean, they whole family, her mother, Chris, like they, it's just, I don't know. You just look at their family, you just get the vibes that they are like Wormwood. If you know anything about the Bible and the woman that's Wormwood, like the Kardashians, that's them. They like a tribe full of wormwood. They just eat the souls of men. So with Kanye, I mean, like if you think about Kanye, you think about all the other crazy, quote unquote crazy stuff that he said, and it seemed crazy at the time, but it ages really well. Stuff he says usually ages really well. So he tweeted that about her, and he might have tried to get out in front of it and like say that and try to put it like save face, but Kanye love that girl. And she bet not divorce him. She a 40-year-old woman with 4 kids.
But she's still Kim Kardashian though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't think me gonna try?
But what man?
You don't think they gonna try?
No, not to wife her. Like why? Why because here's the thing. She's so high up. Her social status is so high up. And then Kim, how she rolls. Like what dude she gonna drop down for? What regular dude just like a regular dude would like? Hell yeah, I'll be with Kim Kardashian. But a dude worth his ilk in being a man. What dude like? Oh yeah, I want wife Kim Kardashian. What?
Okay, so I'm glad you said
Ray J sex tape.
I'm glad.
Chris Humphrey.
You keep going. Don't stop, Freddie B. Don't stop for me.
Like all the baggage.
Damon Thomas,
she has.
come on with it. Nick Cannon. You forgot about Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon.
Yeah, Nick Cannon. Like it's.
She damn near broke up Nick Cannon's happy home with Mariah Carey. Come on now, keep it going.
I'm telling you, man, it's too much. She got.
You said from the Bible
baggage.
Wormwood. You called it Wormwood. Okay.
I'm like, look. Let me be clear. I don't want to just put that. I don't like putting stuff on people. I don't want to just put that on them and say they are that. But that word comes to mind when I think about the Kardashian. I'm just gonna say that.
Okay,
that just come up. Just come up.
Okay, so I'm gonna put a pin in that because we definitely got to have a dialogue about that. What you just said, especially from the status of which Kim is. And now, what about Angela Simmons? She just switched up. Like she had the boxer guy, and showed up for Christmas and he was gone.
I mean, like, I think sometimes people who grow up in the limelight, people who grow up like children who grow up celebrities, that's like super dangerous. Like I was just talking to my guy. I was just talking to my guy. His name is Willis. He in Dallas. We were just talking about like dudes. We were talking about how dudes sometimes, because he was like he'll walk into a room with a bad chick and she'd be in there with like a celebrity or in a space where it's like a celebrity or some type of famous dude with money. And he was like he'll walk in and just snatch the girl. She'd be like, oh, I just like what you're saying. You just a real dude. And I was like, you think about it, that dude that she in there with, who's a sports player, he been pretty much famous. He had girls throwing themselves at him since college. He never had to develop a personality, develop a mouthpiece. It just comes. So when it come to talking, he don't know what that means. So it's just like that with kids. Period. They famous. Like people just be their friends. People just gravitate to them because of who their parents are. So he's like, so they don't become like whole people. Cause it's like, why? They don't have to. Her dad and her mama are like famous. She on TV. Like she could just live her life and just get stuff. And so she meet a dude who might got money, but at his core, like he a regular, real, just natural dude. Ain't nobody about to deal with that.
Right. Ain't
nobody about to deal with her, and especially in her case.
When Tyrese announced his divorce, he made a statement that says there's an attack on the black families. They're under attack. And this is an example of a vicious cycle in our community. So I'm going to drop a pin in this Internet Never Lost for today because I want to get to our discussion. But before I leave, let me just ask y'all this. For the audience, what do you feel about Kim K and Kanye's potential split? That's too many K's in a succession, by the way, for me. Ooh. And is there an attack on the black family? Send us a message. Our handles are in the description below and let us know how you feel. This has been yours truly, T Staples, and this week's edition of The Internet Never Lost. Okay, so it seems like we got too many feelings about the state of the black relationships these days, especially when it comes to high value men and high value women. So let me introduce to you guys a special guest host for this evening, attorney, author of 3 books. Oh, did I tell you what the book was? It's called The B.A.B.E.'s Guide to Divine Feminine Grace, From Mule to Muse. Miss M. Reese Everson. I said a lot right there.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful right there.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
Ooh, girl, this book, oh my goodness. Man, nail biter. Okay? Literally. Let me tell you something. I read your book and I love your point, your vantage point on what these babes, these divine, well, you call them DFG babes, right?
Yeah.
I got that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So DFG, so that's Divine Feminine Grace babes. Am I right? Babes itself has an acronym.
Yes.
Would you mind tell us what that acronym is?
Absolutely. So B.A.B.E. stands for Beautiful, Ambitious, Brilliant Entrepreneurs.
Beautiful, ambitious, brilliant entrepreneurs. Wow. B.A.B.E.'s Guide to Divine Feminine Grace. So this isn't for everybody then. This is for a select few, this book?
Right.
Absolutely. And so here's the thing. Every woman is not going to be the target audience for this book. This book is for the select woman who has decided that she's not going to just fall into the typical stereotype that so many women are comfortable falling into. We're not here to be your self-proclaimed bad bitches, if you will. And that's a term that's been made very popular in pop music and media and things like that. But that's not who we want to be. We actually want to be distinguished. We want to be elegant. We want to be women of substance. We want to be high-value women and live a hypergamous lifestyle. And so that's not every woman. We realize that. And so this is specifically for a certain woman.
Okay, so before I get into my line of questioning, because I want to bring you in on the conversation me and Freddie B just sparked up in the Internet Never Lost segment. But before we go there, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, your background. I said attorney. I said author. I actually read the book, so I do know that you've had some dealings. I don't know if it's on the Congress floor. Am I saying that right? The Senate floor?
Yes, Congress. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I was like, oh wow, this okay. She's distinguished. She's been in
House
Washington.
of Representatives. Yes,
okay.
sir.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about yourself. What do you want people to know about M. Reese Everson? And let me ask you one more quick. I see Esquire at the end. Is that just for your attorney designation, the Esquire?
Yes, I'm licensed in the state of Illinois. That's
gotcha.
correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about
in the words of Jay-Z, pass the bar, know a little bit.
Oh.
So that was a 99 problem. He said, I ain't passed the bar, but I know a little bit.
Well, see, I did. So that's my phrase.
Yeah, you did. Right. So you know a lot of it. You know a lot of it.
Just a little bit. Know a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And who do you represent normally?
So here's what I will say, and this is why Divine Feminine Grace is such a pivot for me and will be for so many other women. Realizing that you are a muse and not a mule is a very powerful realization for a woman. That brings you to a place where you're no longer trying to be the babe in the workplace. You're no longer trying to fight to climb the corporate ladder. You're actually looking to build an empire. And that's, not so much focused on the 9-to-5 hustle and grind. It's really the time where you maximize and become the best version of yourself so that you can prepare to build the family and the kingdom and the empire, as they say, that, so many of us want.
Right. That's
And you
good.
realize that that corporate life was really a stepping stone for you to, maybe broaden your network, broaden your skill set, because you realize that wealthy families, the women don't always work outside the home. A lot of times they're more so the queen that rules the castle. And she's able to, manage things from kind of behind the scenes.
So at what point did you become an author? Like at what point did you start to think about writing the series of books that you have out there?
The Babes Guide was not something I intended to do. It literally, I tell people all the time, I didn't plan to write the book. The book wrote me. While working on Capitol Hill, I experienced something that, was really just wild to me. And when something that's, I would say maybe traumatic, but just an experience that shapes who you are as a person, when it's happening, you're kind of standing there in shock and you're wondering, am I the only one who's, gone through this? Is this normal? Or like, no matter what it is, whether you hit the lottery, whether you were traumatized with like molestation as a child, or no matter what situation you go through, if it's one of those life-changing situations, you're wondering, okay, I need to be able to relate to someone on this topic. And for me, being on Capitol Hill and dealing with workplace harassment, sexual harassment, and all of that stuff, especially at that level, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, who can I talk to about this? Who can I tell? Who do I get advice from? And so the book wrote me because I literally had to just basically do research on my own. And it was such great information that I said, you know what? I need to share this with other women.
Yeah. And I would have to say, after reading it, it is even stuff in there. Not that I would recommend it for men in particular, but as I read it, I realized like, wow, there's so much to the thinking of the DFG B.A.B.E. Let me get that right. There's so many different areas. I saw all the different like objectives or the attributes. Sorry, not objectives, the attributes. And then I saw all of the little intricacies to each one. I was just like, wow, like.
Oh, absolutely.
But it was so funny because as I read it, I thought to myself, is that the kind of woman I want? Is that, yeah, I kind of like that. That's not a good idea.
So question. So now is it safe to say we can call a woman a babe? Like that's not anything derogatory.
Back in the day, it was definitely a pejorative term in the workplace. It was used as a way to make a woman feel small or less than. But talking to most of the millennial women that I've come across, we use term like, babes or boss babes, or even a lot of women use the term boss, bitch, as you probably heard. And they use that and they take back their power in those phrases.
Got you.
So it's more of a term for women to call themselves, not so much a term for men to call them.
Oh, okay. So me walking around,
hey babe, doesn't really.
So me walking around like it's a room full of babes in there.
No. Yeah, it doesn't really fly the same way. But if
what about
women
chicks?
say to each other, again, it doesn't fly the same way.
Oh dang! Because I call women chicks a lot. But
Now, and think about, you have to remember, Fred, we're talking about from the position, and correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Everson, if I'm saying this, can I say Reese or Miss Everson?
Reese is fine.
Reese is fine. Okay, Reese, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're talking about the
hypergamous woman.
There we go. Thank you. Hypergamous woman. There we go. Hypergamous woman. Right.
Freddie B, I would give you a little bit of advice. May I give you some advice?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to take it back to my good. See, I'm a rap girl. I love rap.
Ooh,
and so I would just take it back to my dear notorious B.I.G. who said, because I see some ladies in here tonight who should be having my baby.
Hey.
Baby. So, even B.I.G., even in, the middle of the 90s in the rap era, he's saying he sees some ladies in here tonight. And I've not come across a woman yet who had an issue being a lady. Because that's really what a woman aspires to be.
But to push back on that, in that, so you're a rap fan, so you know syncopation. So and syncopation is so key in rap. So if you listen to that line, I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby. Now if you change that to chicks or babes, it ain't gonna fit. I see some babes in here. It don't got the same vibe. I see some chicks in here. Ladies just flow it. And then the feel of the song, Big Papa, he was like just suave and cool with it. It was like real cool, just that savoir-faire. So ladies got to be used. You can't say chicks.
And that's all I think women want. I think it's totally okay for you to say, hey babes, or I'm sorry, hey ladies. Women appreciate that.
I'll say this. Normally, when I say chicks, I'm not actually addressing women. It's like a third person. Like, I just say chicks generally. Like, I'm just speaking, but I'm speaking in the slanguage, if you will, term. Like, I'm just like chicks over there, like women over there. Not like if I was talking straight to you, I would be like, I probably would say ladies or this woman right here. I wouldn't say this chick right here, referencing you directly.
What do you feel about men that say queen? This queen. Hey, queen. How you doing, queen?
I don't have an issue with it, Thomas. I just want your actions to reflect your words. Don't call me queen with your mouth and your words, but treat me like a peasant with your actions.
Whew, that's real. So can you define for the people, are we talking about hypergamous as the word as it is, or is there a definition to hypergamy that you would like for us to know?
Well, real quick, let's define hypergamy for anybody who may not.
Absolutely. So the as you would call it, Thomas Collins dictionary definition of hypergamous is a person who is through marriage obtaining a higher social status or class.
Gotcha.
And that's because back in the, feudal system, back in the, 1600s with lords, landlords, and things of that nature, whether it's from England or what have you, you had people who were born into a particular class, and they literally could not become anything else unless they married into it.
Wow.
And so these titles that people held, lady, lord, things of that nature, duke, duchess, you could not just wake up and decide to call yourself that. You literally had to marry someone of that bloodline who then could bestow that title on you.
That's like Aladdin, right?
Exactly. Unless you got a genie, you could not just wake up and become a prince.
Aladdin, he got his genie and he was able to get Princess Jasmine. He was Prince Ali. I don't know the word.
Exactly. But outside of waking up and having a magic lamp and a magic carpet, most people could not become of a higher class. And so they had to marry into it.
So I guess from the Internet Never Lost segment, I brought up 4 celebrities, all of which are, one of which is getting ready to part ways or potentially parting ways, but the others that have parted ways with their spouses. And the 2 I really kind of focused on was Kim Kardashian's announcement of getting a divorce from Kanye, and then Angela Simmons and her boyfriend totally breaking up. Would you consider those 2 women hypergamous women?
I would not. I would say, let's see, and I don't know that much about Angela Simmons, I have to be honest, except that she's rap royalty, as in her father is a part of Run DMC. But outside of that, because she grew up on a television show, reality TV, and in a very wealthy family, you could say that she was of a certain social status.
Got you.
So celebrityhood is kind of akin to what, being a lord or a duchess was back in England, if you will. The only difference is there's no guarantee that that the person holding that title has the actual wealth to go with it.
And the reason I brought that up is because there's arguments that, Angela Simmons being single again is because she did grow up with wealth and kind of like royalty around her, but she adopted this ratchet hood lifestyle, becoming, the IG model, right? And kind of going down that path of for example, she had the opportunity to marry wealth, Romeo, which was her boyfriend who she left. And then she went and got pregnant by another gentleman who got shot. So now she got a kid, an estranged kid. And then she tried to come back to Romeo. And he was like, nah, son, I'm good. You got a kid. And he didn't fade her like publicly like that, but they never could get their stuff. They never could get back together. So then she's kind of been on this single journey ever since. And there's this argument that it was that ratchet mentality that landed her in that position because she had a man who wanted her, who wanted to be with her. And he was of royalty. I mean, Romeo is a Master P. Yeah, Master P's son, right.
And his father is a very wealthy man, a prominent businessman who has been able to turn his rap career into several millions of dollars. But here's the question: what I hear you saying to me, and I honestly didn't follow her life story that closely, so I'm not familiar. But here's what I hear you saying: she she was more enamored with the street life and with men who were not on her so-called status, if you will.
Yeah. She was.
And
I mean,
because of that,
yeah.
she put herself in a position where instead of being on a pedestal, she brought herself down and made herself
Exactly.
available to the common man.
Yes.
And then when she realized that, maybe this wasn't the best decision for not just me, but my whole life and going forward, she attempted to backpedal and get back on the pedestal. And now those same men are no longer interested in her. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That gentleman is no longer interested. It's almost like she went from hypergamy to hypogamy.
Yes. And that's, you know what? That's a very real situation. It's very possible and realistic. A lot of times women don't know their value. And see, that's what the real breakdown comes to. Being hypergamous is all about, first, you knowing inside yourself what you possess and how valuable you are. Most of the women that you'll see, they carry them today, whether it's the Nicki Minaj's, the Cardi B's, they carry themselves in a way that, to me, it makes it obvious that they don't truly know their value. And so when
I'll push back a little bit. I feel like Nicki probably knew her value more so than what Cardi B knows.
Why would you say that, Freddie B?
Because I think Nicki's a little more clever with her movements. If you look at her rap career, how she came out, how she evolved, and
she blew her butt up and her breast up. Them was fake.
Yeah, she did.
And it's not always about plastic surgery, but it's really for me. And this is why I made my statement. I saw a woman who was overtly sexual in a gimmicky way instead of relying on her talent. And here's the problem I have with that. She revealed her talent and her skill set when she came out with Pink Print. And surprisingly, for me not to watch reality TV and know nothing about Angela Simmons and Romeo, I actually did listen to the entire Pink Print, but I also saw a video that she created, a whole movie to the Pink Print. And you see this woman in beautiful gowns. You see her music videos standing in these gowns with violins playing, and she's showcasing her acting abilities, and she's not really showing that much of her body. You can see she's got a beautiful body, but it's not with her legs spread open in the air and red patent leather boots. And you're seeing her skills and her talents. And then all of a sudden, I guess because that wasn't popular and that image didn't sell and connect, she went back to the raunchy. And I said to myself, someone's telling her that she can't win showing the best of who she is.
Wow. That's deep.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, like I pulled up her albums, and I mean, really her sales have, she has like 4 official albums: Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded, The Pink Print, and Queen. And you look at her, if you look at her sales, they've trailed off since the beginning. They've kind of like dropped and dropped and dropped. I think that part of that is how records sell, one. And 2, I think like when she first came out, if you remember, like even her mixtape "Beam Me Up, Scotty," that was before that, and that's when she really had to smash, and she was on Young Money. But if you remember when she came out, women rap was dead. There were no women rappers. None.
Oh, she recharged the game entirely.
Right, exactly.
What happened is someone got in her ear, or someone in her camp said, "You're not going to be able to hold their attention. You're not going to be able to compete with Cardi B. Cardi B is overtly sexual. She's raunchy. And so in order to compete with her, you got to, turn it up a notch and keep their attention by just going toe to toe and getting, and just, pull your boobs up, let's see some, and so it became almost, you could tell it was forced.
You're saying what here recently when she came out her last album, Queen?
You could, well, for me, I kind of got when you go and Google Nicki Minaj red patent leather boots and you see her on stage with her legs sprawled open.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
See that this is a person reaching and struggling to just keep some type of attention.
Well, she came in the game like that.
I don't think so. I don't remember her coming in.
I remember when Nicki came in the game, she was actually bisexual. She came in the game like, "I'll take your girl and your man. I'm kissing girls." Like remember that song she got with Usher, Little Freak? She had a
Okay.
song with, that's way before Cardi B, but she say like, you know, I'm a little freak. I'll take your girl. Justin Timberlake. She got a line in there talking about Justin Timberlake was I think with Jessica Alba, and she gonna take Jessica Alba from Justin Timberlake. She came in the game, you know, real bisexual, and women actually thought like, oh, okay, I have a sexual chance with Nicki Minaj. I'm looking at the whole thing like this is just marketing play to harbor masculine energy in the rap game to get her over. And then once she got over, then that's when she switched back to just straight lady. Like, okay, I'm a lady. This is what I want to be. And you see her now, she a housewife now. That's what she really wanted to be from the jump.
So in the book, in chapter 8, there's a scripture you use, Ruth. And so, and let me before I say this, for all the people listening, before I say this, for all the people listening, the word divine in her title is by no mistake. She has your scripture in here. She backing it up with her belief system. Her not just her words are not just experience or just her research, but it's also her spirituality. So she does.
She a lawyer. She a lawyer. She got to come with the with the.
Oh,
the
is that? Oh, I didn't know this. Lawyers are required to have the biblical back. I didn't know that.
No, but he's saying
I
I gotta prove what I'm saying.
Right. Oh, got you. So yeah, so what you were just saying is interesting, Reese, because you have that verse Ruth 3:7 when you were kind of talking about how Boaz, kind of tested the man's character by laying next to him, but letting him know that she was open with her sexuality for him, But
absolutely.
So it's kind of similar to that with that Nicki Minaj, like, hey, look at me. You see, I can get down, but we still gotta respect me, Right. Testing, I guess, the waters or the extremes of it, I guess. I don't know if that's a direct correlation or not.
Well, so here's the thing, and this is I hear you and I appreciate you because I love how you jump back in. Like, okay, so in chapter 8, let's go here. So thank you for bringing us back full circle.
I got notes. I got your whole book is highlighted.
Oh, thank you. So okay, I appreciate that.
The whole
but
book.
No, here's the thing: when I write, I'm not writing my thoughts and opinions. Mm-hmm. My books are actually inspired by God, my conversations with God, my prayer life with God. That's actually what you're getting when you crack open the book. And the things that God has shared with me, God is saying, share this to the women that are listening. And so it's more about me being, the messenger, going through certain experiences and being able to turn around and share them to inspire and encourage women. Okay. So now that we've got that, chapter 8, we talk about Ruth going down to the threshing floor, and a lot of us know the story of Boaz, and a lot of women are saying that they're looking for a Boaz, they're looking for a wealthy man, and they're looking for this, we all listen, not a baller. Well, a lot of girls are looking for the ballers, right? But they're looking for this guy who, and I mean, technically that's what Boaz was. He owned several of the farms and land. He was one of the largest landowners in that region. So he was by definition a baller, okay?
Right.
And so a lot of women these days are looking for that. And what she did with this man who was very, very wealthy was that after he finished a full day's work, meaning he had done his harvest and he came and saw just how much grain he had, accumulated that day, her stepmother told her to go to wash herself up, put perfume on, and then to go and lay at his feet at the end of the night. So this man had been drinking, and he had come and lie down, and she went to a place where women weren't even supposed to be and laid at his feet. And when she laid at his feet, she basically put herself in a position for a man who had poor character to wake up and take advantage of her sexually. She literally laid down and said, I'm going to uncover myself next to this very wealthy man, and he can decide, you know what, I'm going to just have her tonight. I've been drinking. I got a lot of money. I can do what I want with her, and nobody's going to say anything. But because she knew he was a man of character, when he woke up, he was like, what are you doing here? And she was like, I'm here because I want you to be my covering. I want you to, make sure that my family is safe and secure. I want to be your wife. And he said, I'll do that for you. He said, now don't leave here tonight because I don't want you to put yourself in danger and for anybody to see you and to think that something happened. So he was already protecting her reputation. So 1, he didn't take advantage of her. 2, he was literally mindful of who she was as a woman and willing to protect her by marrying her. So this is a man with a whole lot of character, a whole lot of spiritual grounding, foundation, and what have you. So when you talk about, women like Nikki and what they're looking for, a lot of us are really looking for a quality man who will love us. Nikki dated Nas, okay? She was looking to have the Jay-Z, Beyonce, and to be that in rap. You know what I
lyrics.
mean? Well,
I'm joking. That was a joke.
but I mean, you get what I'm saying? She
Yeah.
wanted that power couple. We're the top
Right.
of the food chain. He's powerful. I'm successful, and we together are everything that everybody wants to be. And so a lot of women are looking for their Boaz. And, she looked at Nas and thought, okay, maybe this guy can be that. He's done very well. He's converted his, rap success into billions by buying into different tech companies. And now he's multimillionaire. Okay, maybe this is a good look. But again, it's not just about, is he attractive? It's about how he treats you and what's his character like. And I guarantee you, behind closed doors, there was something going on that things just didn't work out the way she thought they would.
It's interesting you say that. It's this quote. I don't know if you remember this preacher, Pastor Jensen Franklin. He said, Ruth was obedient and God blessed her with her mate, Boaz. While you waiting on your Boaz, don't settle for his distant relatives. Broke ass, punk ass, lying ass, cheating ass, dumb ass, drunk ass, cheap ass, locked up ass, good for nothing ass, lazy ass, and especially his third cousin beating your ass. Wait for your Boaz and make sure he respects your ass. This is that was the craziest from the pulpit thing I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the funny part. I have that video on my Facebook page.
No, that's a very, very rough way of saying it's cute and I like it, but on the pulpit I would give him the side eye. But that's a very accurate way of breaking it down. And then when it kind of brings you full circle to the question about Angela Simmons, you have to wonder, did she get caught up in whether it was the physical, the being aroused by sex? Because here's the other thing: divine feminine grace, DFG, being a divinely feminine, graceful woman. A lot of times, we don't realize that women who are mules are used for sex. Men can use a woman.
Just the word mule. When you said it and then you described it, I was just like, geez, that's wow. But sometimes you need that rebuke, like that harsh, I hope women are hearing this and like they hear that mule word.
Sexual woman, when you are positioning yourself to be an overtly sexual woman, you are positioning yourself to be used for sex like a mule.
Wow.
A mule is used to work and make money and for sex. That's it.
On the flip side, what I say about that is, yes, I do agree, but also because I know some people will hear it. Some women will hear that and be like, okay, I don't need to be sexual. And I think it's a situation of, yes, owning it, but then controlling it because it's yours. Just like you own your own car and you drive it when you want, you drive it when you decide to. The same thing with that sexuality and that sexual nature, like not just using it unnecessarily.
Oh yeah, no, listen. It's be the Maserati of sex, be the Bentley of sex, be the sex that doesn't have to advertise, be the sex that's so good that no one can come to you and unless they're pre-approved. You don't walk into a Bentley dealership and say, "Oh, I'd like to just take this car for a month out," and they're like, "Oh, okay, here are the keys." Excuse me?
You gotta pay for that.
Excuse me? We don't give away free Bentleys. Are you crazy?
Right, and no discounts.
Exactly. And so that's how much you have to have discretion with yourself. And I think as women, there's nothing wrong with owning your sexuality, your sensuality, your what you embody, that power that you have, even in positioning yourself with the man that you want to be with. But at the same time, that's not for everybody.
Hold on, wait, real quick. You could do that with Toyotas? You can take a Toyota for a month? And just drive.
I've seen a couple places that have all kinds of special deals.
You remember we had a good college buddy of ours. Actually, he took whatever the new Camaro was when he did his proposal to his girl. He literally drove it off the lot. Told him he's going to take it for a test drive. He'll be back in a couple of days. They took a copy of his license. He had the car for like 3 days, and we shot the proposal video. So I know I've seen it done. I don't know if you can do it with a Toyota, but I've seen it with a Camaro. And a Camaro ain't a high dollar car. You know, it's a nice car. Don't get me wrong, but it ain't like it's not a Bentley. It's not
Bentley would never.
Right.
Maserati would never. Okay.
And it's interesting because you actually even talk about high value men, and the reason why I brought that up is because you talk about how you see men that are not high value, they go take pictures with cars.
You've seen it.
Yeah, you see
Freddie
it.
B, do you take pictures next to Maseratis and Bentleys sometimes?
Uh-oh.
I've done it one time in my life, and the one time I did it, I was in LA. This was 2014, so it was like 6 years ago.
What kind of car was it?
It was a supercar. Like, cause I have an infatuation. Cause as a kid growing up, I used to go to the book fair and buy posters of like Lambos and Ferraris and Porsches. So this was a Chiron. I think the Chiron had just dropped.
Oh, no, you took a picture of a Chiron?
Yeah, it's a Bugatti Chiron. I think it just dropped. I think the Veyron had just, and then this one, this was like, it was black with like, it was all black with a yellow accent. If I'm not mistaken.
How much does it go for?
A Chiron goes for
Chiron's
3 million, 4 million.
2.5 base package, and then you gotta really.
I mean, they're all sold out. So I mean, if you don't get on that initial list,
right? They're a collector's item at this point. You have to have like at least 10 million to even talk to somebody.
Now imagine if that's how you talked about the woman that you wanted to marry. Imagine if a woman was that exclusive, if that's how you talked about her when you talked to TC. Oh, I took a picture with Reese today, and I just, that's the type of excitement
she had
that
the
a
yellow
woman.
Stripes on. Yeah, exactly what he just said. Yeah, I can see it.
She had the yellow stripe to accent in her butt, and it just came up. I was like, oh my god, she has
accent
the curves.
Her butt. You wouldn't say
the curves of it.
You say curves.
Like the woman. She said the woman that I'm interested in, right?
The woman of your dreams,
Reese?
Okay,
the woman of your dreams, the woman you want to marry, not just the woman you want to sleep with.
Yeah, I mean, with the woman I want to marry is the woman I want to sleep with too. What are we saying, Reese? What are we really saying? If I want to marry her, I want to do some other things to her as well. That comes standard. It's like a square and a rectangle. A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle ain't a square.
You have plans for her. I see.
Yes, I have some some
you
exquisite plans for
her. But the way you think of her, the way you speak of her, is so much more. I mean, like you just called off the specifications of that car. That's how you would speak of the same tone, the same reverence. That's what women should aspire to have in the man that they're with. And a lot of times that's not what they're getting.
But with that being said, they're not getting that because now you have, kind of to allude to what you were saying before about Nicki Minaj, you have but more so you have women like Meg Thee Stallion and these women pushing the savage thing. Like now, because I did a Facebook Live about it's not necessary to have a whole phase. I'm posting it just playing, just joking or whatever on Facebook. Tell me why, Reese. Tell me why that the vast majority of women hopped on and said, yes, it is necessary. You are wrong. It is necessary to have a whole phase. And tell me why the majority of men said, no, it's actually not necessary to have a whole phase.
Because men don't want the idea of their woman having been test driven by anybody else. I literally had a guy say to me, I want a car that has not 1 mile on it. I want it to have literally been rolled off the truck and put onto the showroom floor.
Correct.
That's how men are.
Correct.
I ain't gonna lie. The first time I had a car with 0 miles, it did feel good. It was like, oh, I'm the first one to drive this.
Here's the crazy thing. It's like, okay, Reese, like hearing you talk is like, okay, you have a certain idea about these things. You have this like realization, this illumination about things that men want in relationships, so on and so forth. But here's the sad part about it is the way you talk and what you think, that's probably like, that's not 90% of women. I'll go so far to say 95% of women don't get that about men. Because, like I said, if you go back and look at my live, women weren't getting that. They was like, oh, no, you want a woman that's experienced and that's, that, and the third. I'm like, where y'all at? What world y'all live in?
But here's even more the truth. Women want that themselves. If you say to a woman,
no, they don't.
Would you like a Coach purse? Would you like a Coach purse or a Louis Vuitton? Well, everyone will tell you that they want the luxury item. They want something that's, more top shelf. That's most women. I mean, there are some practical women who say, I don't care, just give me something from TJ Maxx as long as I can put my shoes and my gym clothes in it. But there are women who would say, I'd love to own something that's, high quality, high, very well made, high craftsmanship. So even women understand exclusivity. You don't want the guy who's looking at every chick while he's sitting there having breakfast with you. And you don't want, and a man doesn't want the girl that shows up and everybody's been like, oh yeah, I had a good time with her.
I think it starts to, that idea starts to fall apart when you talk about sex and sexuality. Cause like the thing is I was on my live asking women, in which something I know, like I've had this conversation countless times with women, is if you ask a woman, would you rather have a man that's a virgin or a man that has done his thing? And I don't know a woman that's like, oh yeah, give me the virgin man. Like every woman I know, like, oh no, have that virgin man go somewhere and figure it out and then come back and then I'll take him.
Well, see, there's a difference. I think you're asking the wrong question, though. It's not about whether she wants a virgin man. It's whether she wants a man who's been in 3 6-year relationships or 3 5-year relationships. She wants someone who hasn't been with everybody and just completely slutting himself out. That's what she's looking for.
I mean, but to compare it to what you said about the car having no miles. Like if you ask a man, would you rather want a virgin woman or a woman that has been around? They're gonna be like, oh, give me the virgin.
Well, Freddie B, let me jump in right here because this is something I also think that she does really well with her book. See, when I read this book, we're coming off of what I like to call the mini era of Kevin Samuels. He had a little run at the end of 2020 there. And Ron was talking about high value men. Now I think he's brought some videos out this year that might keep his run going. I don't know yet. But he talked about high value men. When I was reading Reese's book, I realized the way she defined high value women is not necessarily equal to the way you define a high value man. Matter of fact, it's almost opposite, right? It's almost a different way of thinking because instantly when you think about high value men, you think about what they make, right? You think about, how they look, how do they smell, how do they treat people around them? What are their contributions to the society? What is the work they do?
Their resources.
What are their resources? Right, exactly. The total sum of their resources, whether it's their relationships, their money, or whatever, right?
Yeah, mental, spiritual, physical,
and Reese,
financial.
When she defined what a high value woman is, because before I was thinking, if a woman was exactly what he just said a man is, I don't think those two people will ever be compatible. There's two masculine people. It doesn't make sense. But when Reese defined it, Reese, I'll let you define. What do you consider a high value woman? And maybe, Freddie, you can see why there's some differences in even your discussion about, the virginity thing, right? So I'll let Reese define it.
So you're right. The characteristics of a high value man are, really based in him being assertive, being very accomplished, high achieving, him being tough, kind of aggressive as far as being a go-getter, not being a very emotional man, not saying that he doesn't have emotions, but not an emotional man, like a weepy man, self-relying and things like that. Whereas when you get a woman that's high value, the breakdown is, okay, so first of all, there's a couple different characteristics, the internal and the external. Because as you know, men are visual. And not that being a woman is all about how men see you, but it's an important component.
Right.
And it's an important component that you're aware of how you show up in the world.
Yes.
And so we are, very meticulous in how we present ourselves, whether it's our hair, our nails, our clothes, our body, even our size, our shape. There's no magic number that a woman needs to be size-wise because we're all built differently and beautifully by God. But there is a such thing as your best self and what your best body looks like. And a high value woman is definitely making sure that she's doing all she can to have her best body and not to have someone else's best body and getting plastic surgery and BBLs so that she has someone else's best body, but that she's working out and, doing her squats or crunches or whatever, eating properly, drinking her water, her skin is clear, her teeth are straight, she's gone to the dentist, she's, done what she needs to do so that her body absolutely looks its best. And then she's, very, very, very meticulous about how she presents herself in her clothing. And, like I said, hair, nails, it's all about her package and her presentation because she looks like she's valuable. One of the first things that you see when you look at her is she's valuable. And not only is she valuable to other people, but she looks like she cares about and values herself.
Yeah. And I what I really thought about what you said about the hypergamous woman who is a high value woman, a DFG B.A.B.E. When you started talking about these different attributes, right, of this woman, it started to dawn on me. Oh my goodness, it's possible that we may have been looking at, we may have been calling the wrong women high value.
Mm-hmm.
we may have been giving that designation to people who may not qualify.
Absolutely. I'll go back to your first question. Your very first question, I didn't answer. You said, is Kim Kardashian a hypergamous woman?
Yeah.
Is she a high value woman? Well, she's a popular woman. She's a famous woman. But when I think of high value, and I think of the characteristics for how a woman carries herself, Kim does stand in her power of being a sexual being, but does she stand in her power as a divinely feminine woman of God, of grace? Do you think of gracefulness, or do you think of, no, you think of the times you've seen her. Literally, the only thing we haven't seen of her is from the inside. I mean, if, they took a camera and put it inside her insides, that would give us the only thing we've not seen of her.
I think we get what you're saying and where you're going.
We saw the Ray J
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I saw the Ray J tape.
We've seen so much of her that, and not that you can't come back from your past, but at the same time, even recently after her second child, she's naked with a bottle of champagne sitting, so she's used her sexuality time and time again.
She has that fupa from the baby, huh? You call it a fupa? Am I saying that right?
That is what it's called. I don't even remember if she had one, and that's because I pay so little attention to her. Yeah. But here's my point. So there are women who carry themselves a certain way, and a divinely feminine, graceful woman is not even needing to show you all of her, because she knows she's a Bentley, and it's not even necessary for you to see that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, I was gonna say, a high value woman that I could think of off top that's really high value, and that's Denzel Washington's wife. I think Paulette Washington.
Oh, she's, man, wow.
She's high value. I would say she's high value.
And you know what she's done in that situation that a lot of people don't give her the respect of, and I think this is why part of the defection of his son, right? Why he was also trying to get out from underneath his shadow, but it was the non-recognition of his mother that I think really bothered him, because she was able to multiply, similar to Gucci Mane's wife. She was able to multiply. Yeah, I don't know if you know the story, Reese, of when Gucci went to jail. He gave his wife, what was it, $3 million, Freddie B? Was it $3 million? And she turned it into 8 by the time he got out. When he got out, it was $8 million waiting.
Absolutely.
I was like, whoa.
And that's the power of a DFG babe. That's the power. Because while you're not so much, and I do appreciate the business acumen that Kim Kardashian has by being able to take a sex tape and build a very strong empire from that. But at the same time, there's something to be said by a woman who is learning business, learning investing, and able to take what she, has and multiply it. When you get with a man that's wealthy and you're sitting in the house, you can still go online and buy stock. You can say, you know what, hey, today is, I'm looking at it and Tesla is doing this. I think it's going to do, 10 times as much. Let me go ahead and buy some stock, and let me buy some options, or let me buy this property that, I think is going to go up. I was, listening to the news, and this particular area they're going to develop in. Let me buy a couple buildings over here, or just investing. The mindset of a DFG babe is a woman who doesn't need to be loud about it, but she knows how to flip and make more. Mm-hmm. She's not just, running through his pockets like a cleaner's. She's actually able to take what he has and build more.
You could tell a tree by the fruit it bears.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, because it varies from guy to guy, but a high value woman is one that, depending on the dude that you with, she can multiply what he has going and make his life easier. Like, he going, he working, he making it happen, and she can like take some of that load off and then flip some of it and make it more. So in Gucci Mane's case, he had to go to prison. His girl, she was at home by herself, held him down, and took his resources, flipped it, made it more, so he can come home to more. Paulette Washington, Denzel's wife, it's something different. She at the home, he acting, doing these movies. She raising the kids. She taking care of the house, making sure it's a stable place for him to come back to. He goes acting and he does all that crazy life. He can come back to something stable. That's the same when he left. It's not different characters and different movie sets. And those children are getting that nurturing that they need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I mean, I like I said, that's high value. That's what I would say is high value. But I mean, but a lot of women don't get that nowadays.
Well, what I think Reese really does in this, and I think any of the ladies, if any of the ladies that are listening to this, I encourage you all, if you are looking to get more in touch with yourself and to improve yourself, and not in a what was it? Not shallow.
Sound like they need to get this book, this Babe's book. This is what it sound like.
The Babe's book is hot. I'm trying to tell you. I read the whole thing, Freddie B. Okay, I read the whole. I'm from cover. Even to her email address. I'm looking at her email address right now in the back. That's how far I went.
Thomas is about to be a high value woman, guys. Basically, what he's saying.
No, but that's such an accomplishment, Thomas, because you're sitting there listening to me talk to women about where to buy their clothes, what type of things to put in their hair, and how to take care of their skin. And I mean, we're going through the guts, because being a woman is not easy. All of us have something that we're dealing with.
I was sweating when I was reading this book. I was like, man, you gotta do all that. I was like, geez. Even the stuff even when you broke down, and ladies, I would encourage you to get this book, because she even breaks down her issues with skin, her issues with like
we do teeth, do skin, we do weight. I mean, like I said,
I know about 5 women that suck their thumb every day that need to read this book.
Lord.
But right, and so a lot of them
who's over the age of 30 now. Over the age of 30 doing
and
this.
no one says to you when you're 30 years old, hey, do you know that the thumb sucking that you're doing is causing you to have an overbite, and it's making your smile less attractive, and a smile is one of the first things that a man sees when he looks at you, or that people see in general, even if it's not a man, even in a business setting, or you want to put your best foot forward, and for you to be a hypergamous woman and be an asset to someone when they walk in the room with you, you got to work on that.
And you do a great job. You do a great job with the sensitive topic of, like in chapter 4, external beauty. One of the first things I highlighted was the 5th most attribute of a DGF babe is her overall face. And I thought it was so interesting because it's so hard to talk about these things, because it's kind of shunned when you start speaking about specifics in beauty, or specifics in caretaking, specifics in where you are mentally. And you just go right at it. You just say, listen, let's just talk about it. Okay. Listen. This is what's going on, and I love the thread of scripture throughout the whole thing. So with that being said, we do know that this high value woman, there's not a lot of, or we don't know how many of them are out there, but this is a specific woman. It may not be for everybody.
Right.
Because there are some women, one of the stories that kind of resonate with me, I work in media, of course, and I work for a major television network. And I've actually experienced these women in high positions who are masculine. And I thought to myself, when I was reading that section about, kind of how a masculine woman can emasculate a man, at first I got a little tense. I was like, okay, wait a minute. What you mean you emasculate me? But then you told a story in the book about the lion in the zoo. And I said, okay, Reese. Okay, you speaking my language. Analogies and parables. Let's go. But would you care? I don't want to give away your whole book, because I don't put everything out there for I want people to actually go and buy more information in there. But maybe, would you care to expound on the lion in the zoo analogy?
I can sum it up really quickly in one sentence. If you don't learn how to be a woman, you will have to learn how to be a man. Or if you don't learn how to be a woman, you will have to learn how to work like a man. And so a lot of times you have women who have had to take on the characteristics and be this, masculine, go-getter, take no prisoners, warrior, just attack the lion, or just this vicious, she's out here, she's ruthless, she's vicious, and she takes no prisoners. Well, that's not the natural order of a woman. And so what you find is that when a woman doesn't properly learn how to be a DFG babe, or a divinely feminine, graceful woman, she then because she can't attract a high value man, she then has to go and be her own high value man.
Right.
And then she has to go to the workplace and hunt for herself. And so that's one of the issues that you'll find. Now, at the same time, these emasculated women, when they're around high value men are looking at them going, I'll sleep with her. She's not what I really want. But you know what? She's very masculine. So she operates first from her sexual nature, and she's pushing sex on me. It's not what I want. I want to chase, but I'll take it.
Right. Right.
And so that's one of the issues that you find with masculated women, which is why they're mules, because they're used for work and for sex.
Oh my God, full circle. Good God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I can't do it. That is hilarious when he does that.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I kind of want to wrap it up because I think that I think we've covered a lot of territory here tonight, and I'm very hopeful because I think you are not an antithesis to what the Kevin Samuels has put out there, but I think there is actually more of a companion to it.
Yeah, she's like she's like the female soft version of.
I mean, it's like I almost feel like you need a YouTube show or. I don't know how you would, pop or get it popularized where people will watch it, but I think if you just spoke, even if you were speaking to men about this is what you need to be looking for, this is what a high value woman is, I think women would actually extract information from that. Because there's so much stuff that's talking to women. I think sometimes there's a lot of noise out there and stuff doesn't really cut through. And it's actually my hope and my prayer that this book does cut through to the women that need it, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
For you, and for you and your wallet, but also for the building of the kingdom. And so, not to make this thing a holy, not that I'm a holy roller, but it definitely. It took me to church a little bit. It really took me to church a little bit. I was like, man.
Thank you. Well, see, God has a way of getting his message to who needs it. So I was just obedient and told to write it. I wrote it and I released it. So from now and from here, God takes it wherever he wants to go. Like I didn't reach out to you about the show. God literally will put this book where it needs to be. But you made an interesting point about that cat being the female Kevin Samuels. And I gotta pause you there because
I know. I was like, because she told me, she said, I kind of contradict him. So I was like, where does she contradict him at?
Okay.
Well, here's the thing.
Let's see the
I'm not okay with yelling at women and demeaning them. I'm not okay with talking down to women who are lost and who don't know who they are. It's a journey. No one shows up at the start of the race with, all of the medals. You get there at the end. And he talks down to women and tells them, you'll never get there. It's too late. Give up. And that's insane. That's an insane proposition. And frankly, he shouldn't have a platform because one, he's disrespectful in his communication to black women from what I've seen. And I don't ever think you can never disrespect a black woman in my presence, period. That's not the sign of a high value man ever. Any man who thinks it's okay to hang up in her face, to yell at her, to shut her down, to destroy her confidence, that's what you're looking at is not a high value man. Because high value men don't seek to tear down women.
I see. I see. And now I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, okay, I see where you come because I have said that. I mean, the message that he's giving is quality. And I've told people this, like what it's wrapped in. It's like it's like you kind of if you take a paper bag, a crumpled up paper bag, and wrap a PS5 in it. It's like, oh yeah, it's a PS5. I wanted a PS5, but why is it wrapped in this soiled paper bag?
Right. Like why is it like that? Yeah,
you could have just not put that on there and just gave me the box then if that was going to be the case. But yeah, I definitely agree. I think some of the stuff that he said has been misconstrued by people. Like, for example, the viral clip, the clip that went viral about him calling the girl a 5. And like in that, she called herself a 5. He's like, okay. And he just went along with what she said. So, but I do think, there are some elements where like I said, to agree, not to be, picking at the hairs. I think overall what you said, I definitely agree with.
You don't play the fat noise when a woman's talking and she tells you her weight, and it's just really it's him.
I see that one.
It's him.
Oh my God.
He played fat noise,
or telling women to get off my phone, or he's been absolutely disrespectful to women, and predominantly black women.
Yeah, right. I think some of the fame has started to he's been getting bigger. So I think some of the fame him wanting to take the show higher, so now he's added more sound effects, the taps, the danger zone, and the
I ain't gonna lie, that danger zone is hilarious. When I hear that, it's danger. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, just like the sound effects are funny, but on a basic human level, I can understand like where like okay, somebody might be hurt, but I think from his example, from his idea is like he's talking to adults, and he feels like hey, you're a grown woman. Yeah, I think that's
But what
might
I'm
be where
trying
it's
to
coming
tell
from.
you is that a high value man is a man of character. And just like the story with Boaz, he could have had Ruth that night. When he said, okay, I'm going to marry you, he said he didn't sleep with her and he didn't want to give anybody else the impression that he slept with her. He kept her, not just her physical integrity, but the appearance of her integrity. A high value man has integrity in how he deals with women.
That's good.
And we're not seeing that with Kevin Samuels at all, from what I've seen.
Yeah, so we had to make sure that the message is wrapped in the proper wrapper. Is to use your analogy, Freddie B, that we cannot men wrap our message in trash bags and expect the message to be received like it's a Snickers bar or Twix.
And here's the other thing. It's not true. You can see, here's the fallacy. The fallacy that he has is that every high value man looks like a 50-year-old version of Michael B. Jordan. That's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
There are high value men that are like, what's the guy who's Microsoft?
Oh, not
Bill Gates?
Bill Gates, yeah.
There are more wealthy and high value, high net worth men that fall in the Bill Gates category than there are that fall in the Idris Elba category.
Oh yeah, you can look at what's the black guy, the billion, is it Robert F. Smith? F. Smith? Yeah, you can look at cats like him.
They usually don't look like Idris Elba. So
Right.
to say that you need to be, this perfect, I see that women should aspire to be their best selves, but to say, oh, you're past this or you're over this, no one's going to want you. Well, that's not true, because the man you're talking to might literally look like a black Steve Urkel. I mean, he might look like an older Steve Urkel. And he might be just happy that she's there smiling at him. You know what I mean? If she's in the right setting and she's elegant and she's feminine and she's graceful.
Right. Where do we go from here?
I think a lot of what I hear him, a lot of the, like, because I've seen I've got hooked on it and watched a lot of the videos, but a lot of what I see him speaking to are the women who will have children, like they'll have children and they'll be in their 30s. And then they'll be, and then some of the women they'll call and they'll want to loud talk and over talk, and it's like the attitude, the masculine energy, and them having children and them being in their 30s. Now that I would definitely say
you have to be divinely feminine and graceful. That's not negotiable.
Right.
DFG,
Right.
you have to be divinely feminine and graceful.
Gotcha.
But having
Right.
children isn't always the case, because you have some men like Professor Boyce Watkins who, may be a semi-wealthy man. And he's not what you would call an A-type man. He's more of a B-type man, but that doesn't mean he's not high value. That doesn't mean he doesn't have a platform.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's not wealthy. And he gets with a woman who has children because she's intellectual. She's a professor as well. They match. And they're just as nerd.
And did he have? Did he have a
together.
kid before her as well? I think
he had a child.
He came into a relationship with a kid. So
they blended their family.
Yeah.
She helps him lose weight. She helps him become a better version of him. They run together. So this whole idea that he's pushing, that if you're not perfect, you are no longer eligible to get someone, is ridiculous, because the men aren't perfect either. Then you've got high value men that are 50, like one of I've talked to a young lady, and she's got a high value man, but he's now got prostate cancer, and so and all these health issues that some men can't even have sex at this point at 50 years old. So there's more to it.
Better put that strap on.
Oh,
pretend.
Lord.
What?
I said you better put that strap on. Pretend.
That's another show. I can go call back in for that one.
Oh, my bad. Sometimes my mind, I go there. My bad. Reese, let me just let you know. Sometimes I go there. That's my fault. It was late.
Well, we'll have to call back for that one. We'll do another. We'll do Divine Feminine Grace After Dark.
Right.
How to keep your man happy after the marriage.
Hey, he put it on and help her, get her what she need.
Hey, but seriously, so we can't just put all of these men, according to the world of Kevin Samuels, who very well may be interested in men, we don't even know, but we can't put all of.
I did hear that. That just came out yesterday or a few days ago. I heard that somebody. One of the TKO channels, the women were saying.
Yeah. I mean, because he has zesty movements, but based off his just natural speech, it sounds like he's definitely heterosexual. But he has zesty movements.
He a little loose.
Listen,
He a little loose. He a little loose.
I've never been behind closed doors and not looking forward to it. So that's neither here nor there. But what I'm trying to tell you is that a lot of times when you get men who talk down to women and criticize women, and especially in their physical attributes, to me, those men operate in feminine energy, and I don't typically find that they're completely heterosexual.
Wow.
Right. I mean, and you definitely raised some interesting points. I think a lot of what he's saying is kind of in a vacuum about like a woman that's looking to be hypergamous and looking to be a part of a high value man's world. And then I've had the chance to go back and look at some of his videos where he's talking to men. And he talked to them in the exact same way about things they need to do, and he talks to them in a vacuum. So I mean, I think if you compare the two, you'll get the you can get the clear picture. But I think that's something that it's kind of like the Proverbs 31 woman. Like, is a woman actually gonna be the Proverbs 31 woman? Probably not, because it's a lot of stuff that she
aspire to be, right?
Exactly. Exactly. That's precisely my point. You hit the nail on the head. It's aspiration. So when he's talking to women, it's like, aspire to be a woman who is not 32 with 2 kids by 2 different dads, or even one dad and you're not with the father. Aspire to be a woman who harnesses her female energy, who's got, if you're 30, 31, like you're a good height to weight ratio. You embody all those things that you were talking about physically. You have that feminine energy. You're able to that man that comes to you like, hey, I want you. And you're like, okay, I want you. That you're able to mesh and understand where he is and how to make everything he's doing better and take it to another level.
Yeah. I'm gonna play something for you guys. This is a little scenario that we pulled off of Facebook, and I want to get you guys' response to it. I think that it kind of plays into our conversation a little bit about some of the misunderstandings of high value men and high value women in our roles. And so here's the scenario. Are you ready? Everybody good? Okay.
Yes.
So my homeboy called. He asked, is he wrong? Here's what happened. My homeboy said his wife's family came over to the crib on Christmas. She cooked, and when the food was done, she had made her father's plate first. He had a problem with that. He said, man, I pay all the bills around here. I should get the first plate, and then y'all give me a damn spoon. He had to eat with a spoon because she gave all the forks out to all the guests. He told me he talked to his wife, and she said,
that's my father. I can't promise you'll always get the first plate, and it's not a big deal.
He told me he left the house because of all the blatant disrespect. I told him he isn't wrong and to stand his ground.
Thank you to Dr. Buddy Lee and Jewel Carter for the scenario. You can find them at Jewel's Voice and at Dr. Buddy Lee. Okay, Reese. Was he wrong? Was he right?
I can only tell you what the Bible says in this situation, because it's giving all the guidance we need. And so when the Bible gives you proper guidance, you don't need Reese's opinion. I'm here to support it. It says that a man should leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, and they are one. Well, if you and I are one, then who do I serve first? Myself. Just like on an airplane, if the airplane's going down, it says, adults, please secure your mask before you secure anybody else's mask. So before I take care of any extraneous people, family, or else, I have to take care of my mate. My mate is me. I am him. We're one. That's the king, the head of this household. Without him, we're not even sitting in this house.
That's good news.
So
That's
I serve my king first.
Freddie B.
There we go. I ain't got nothing. She just said what I said. Only thing I can add is she nuts. Is she nuts? Like, who you going home with? Like, nigga, you gotta get in the car with me, and you gotta come sleep in the bed with me. You gonna sleep with your daddy? If you gonna sleep with him, then you serve him first. You sleep in the bed with me. That's your that's mine. Come serve my plate, please. Quit playing.
And here's the problem.
And they gave him a
The
spoon?
problem is that we give people titles before they understand the qualifications.
Ooh.
You made a woman a wife who didn't know what her role was as your wife, who didn't know what her contractual agreement to you is and what the Bible says that you guys are to each other.
Come on, man.
And so she's walking around as your wife, and she doesn't know what her obligations to you as a wife are.
And that's interesting. She said that you said that, Reese, because I talk about it in terms of like job. Like a job, like, you know, if you hiring somebody, you know, it's the same type of concept. Like you wouldn't hire anybody who isn't qualified for a particular job. You wouldn't hire somebody who, and then hire them and have them working for your company if they're not doing their job description. Like, hey, this is the job description. You're not doing that. Why are you doing something else? Or you wouldn't even hire somebody and have them keep working for you if they're doing the job description of another company. So if another company had the same title, that they're doing something that they did for that company, but it's like, okay, for this company, we do things this way. This is the job description here. They're like, no, I'm going to do it like I did it back at this other company. It's like, hey, well, then go back to the other company and work, because here, that's not what we need. So, you know, that's like my little Freddie B analogy.
No, we definitely have to get better as far as knowing what we're looking for and knowing what we have to offer and knowing how to date for marriage. A lot of us, unfortunately, we're not raised to be wives and husbands. And so we get into this institution of marriage and we have no idea what we're doing. None. And so we don't know how the pieces move on the board. So we don't know how to win the game.
That's good. Let me ask you one last question, before we get to a close. If a woman thinks that they are high value, but they're really not, how is there a way that women can hold a mirror up and test and know where they really stand in life, so that they don't have to just walk around thinking that they're high value? They can know, okay, I'm not, I need to make some corrections, or they can say, oh, I am, I fit that category.
Wait, to add to what Thomas said, is there a way, in addition to what he said, is there a way to, like, some women to realize, like, I'm just not high value. Like, I'm not going, because everybody can't be high value, because that means then high value is average.
Okay. And so here's the thing. How does a woman know that she's not? Well, here's the funny thing. Life has a way of showing you if she sincerely wants to be a high value woman, if it's her heart's desire. And she literally prays about it. God, I want to be a high value woman. I want to be a hypergamous wife, XYZ. As you date, I can guarantee you, based on my own life experience and other women who have also prayed for this, that God will show you the areas that you need to correct so you can literally become the best version of yourself. And every time you get into a situation that reveals a little more about you, you'll auto correct. You'll see the issue and you'll literally see it and go, oh, okay, this is what needs to be better. Because it's a steady journey. And so for the woman who, is oblivious to it, all she has to do is pray about it, and literally over time, it doesn't have to take a long time, but life will show her. God will show her. If she thinks, well, and then when you said, Freddie B, that everybody can't be high value, again, everybody's got to be the best version of themselves in their circumstance. Everybody's not going to live in Beverly Hills, but you can be the hypergamous woman in Crenshaw, or the well-to-do woman in wherever it is you are in Detroit. You can be, married to a pastor that's, got a church in Detroit and he's successful. And so you're hypergamous compared to all the other women there, or you're high value compared to the women there. You can be hypergamous in your sphere of influence.
That's
wow.
Good.
Wow.
That's good stuff.
Wow. Well, listen. We just have way too many feelings today.
Actually, this one, we got way a lot of feelings, but they just
they feel good though. They feel good.
Yeah.
This feel good. Reese Everson, everyone. Thank you, Reese, so much for joining us today.
Appreciate it.
Reese Everson, you are worth the wait. Make sure you guys go out there and grab you a copy of her new book, The B.A.B.E.'s Guide to Divine Feminine Grace, From Mule to Muse.
Thank you so much for having me.
Where can we find it?
The book is available on iTunes, Amazon, and my website, www.mreeseeverson.com.
That's right. Y'all make sure y'all go cop one of them. Listen, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Our handles are all in descriptions below. Let us know how you feel about high value men and women today. Are we there yet? Are you there yet? Are you there yet? Freddie, you there yet?
Yeah.
There yet?
I feel working? Like I'm. See, here's the thing. I like to categorize my stuff as the triple T's and the PTPs. The PTPs are the prime time players. Triple T's is the talented 10th. The talented 10th is when you're there. PTP, you almost there. I feel like I'm a PTP.
You almost
PTP-er.
there?
I'm a PTP-er. Prime time player.
Okay, all right.
Kudos to that.
You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, hey, listen, I'm almost there too then. You know, I think I'm close, though. I think I'm real close. Financially, I'm good. You know, financially, I'm good.
All right now.
I got to get that oneness thing going that you talked about.
Yeah.
That special one, that oneness thing. Yeah, so, listen, this has been a good one. I've been here with Reese Everson, and who else?
It's your main man, Freddie B, checking in for the one time.
Freddie B, checking in. Hey, listen, I'm yours truly, T Staples. And make sure you catch us next time when we have too many feelings. Peace.